Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you've all had a wonderful day. Today's video is my reading wrap up for April. So I read these 5 books plus another couple. These 5 were on my TBR, so I will start with them first. Let me just turn to the right page in my reading journal so I know what I'm talking about. So let's start with the first one that I read, which was The Invisible Husband of Frick Island by Colleen Oakley. So this follows a journalist called Anders who arrives on Frick Island, obviously, and he meets Piper Parrish, whose husband went missing. He's presumed dead, but Piper and the entire town continue to talk to him as if he is still living, as if he is still with her. So Anders spends his time visiting the island, trying to understand what is going on, basically. It was a bit of a slow read for me, but it was actually really heartwarming and really lovely. And I gave it 4 stars in the end. So the reason I sort of say it was a bit of a slow read is it wasn't one where lots is happening all at once and you feel like you're flying through it. It is just a bit like an everyday kind of pick it up for an hour or two kind of read and then pop it down again and just pick it up when you feel like it. I could dip in and out of it. And yeah, that was good enough for me. It was a nice book. I think I probably would read it again. But yeah, I gave it 4 stars. So there's that one. Next up was The Flip Side by James Bailey. So this one follows Josh, who proposes to his girlfriend on New Year's Eve? Yes. I mean, it says it on the back, but he proposes to his girlfriend on New Year's Eve and she says no. So he loses his girlfriend, his job, and his flat all in one evening. He moves back to his parents' house and decides that for the next year he will decide his fate and make his choices by flipping a coin. And through that, he meets a girl, and then it all goes from there. It was okay. I listened to the audiobook alongside this, and yeah, I gave it 3 stars. It was okay. I probably wouldn't read it again. It was just a kind of meh kind of novel for me. I didn't think there was anything super exciting happening in it. There wasn't a huge love aspect, even though he met a girl. I just didn't feel like there was a lot of romance in it for me, which is what I was expecting from it. But that's fine. I gave it 3 stars. It was okay. There's that one. Next up, I read Anne Frank, The Diary of a Young Girl. Now, this book took me all month to read. I found it really slow and just generally difficult to kind of dive into, if that's what I want to say. Obviously it's a true story, so it is Anne Frank's diary of when she was in the annex during World War II, hiding from the Germans because she is Jewish. And I haven't actually given it a rating. And my reason behind that is I don't feel like a true story about something as sad as World War II and the way the Jewish community was treated. I don't feel it. I don't know. I didn't feel comfortable giving it a rating. I didn't feel like it needed one. It was really good. I enjoyed picking it up. And I wasn't like bored or anything while I was reading it. It was just a slow read for me because it's Anne's like thoughts and feelings. It doesn't flow. It's not like a story. It's her diary entries. So they're written about what she's thinking and what she's feeling and what's happening to her at the time. So parts of it are slow paced and parts of it are very samey. Yeah, I thought it was good. I don't know if I will pick it up again anytime soon, but I definitely will continue to keep it on my shelves. This copy is very special to me because I purchased it at the Anne Frank house in Amsterdam when I visited with my sister. So it is a very special copy to me. And yeah, I liked reading Anne's story. It was just a slow read for me. So there's that. I find though that all kind of true real life, non-fiction is always kind of a slow read for me. So I recommend picking it up if it's something you're interested in, but prepare for it to be a bit of a slow read. Next up, I have Page Tune, If You Could Go Anywhere. So this follows Angie, whose grandmother dies, and then she finds a letter from a father she's never met in, I wanted to say Tuscany, but I don't know if it is. I mean, it's in Italy. I feel like she visits Tuscany. But yeah, she goes to Italy to meet her father, and she meets Alessandro, who, let's just say, romance ensues. Okay, it was a slow-paced romance, in the sense that there's a little bit of a no, he's not really interested. Is he interested? Kind of aspect, which I didn't mind. Usually that kind of thing really irritates me. I'm like, is he interested or not? Just tell me. But there was a lot more going on in this book than I initially expected, and it flowed really lovely. I love Page Toon. I want her to be my best friend. She writes phenomenal books that make me laugh, make me cry every single time. This one was no exception. I gave it 4. Did I? Yes, I did. I gave it 4 stars, and I would 100% read it again. I actually have a Page Tune shelf now, and I know she's releasing a book next year, so I'm keeping my eyes peeled for that one. Next up is this chonker. It is Bitter Blue by Kristen Cashore. It is the 3rd book in the Graceling series. Me and Nikki buddy read this month, and it is a chonker. It is a good, where are we? 540, 50 pages, give or take, and we split it out across 7 days, I believe, so it's about 70 pages-ish a day. And I did find it really difficult to begin with to crack on with those 70 pages, not because it wasn't interesting, but I find with the Graceling series so far, the beginning of the book is very descriptive, it's very world-buildy, which is fine, but obviously a lot of the like big things that happen don't happen until like the second half of the book. So that first bit I found a little bit difficult to get into reading those 70 pages. And then once I got into it, I found it a lot quicker to read them. And it was just really good. I can't tell you what happens because I would then be giving away book 1 and 2. But I highly recommend reading them. Yeah, they're a really good series. I'm not sure when we're going to pick up Winterkeep. I need to talk to Nikki about that, but we shall see. So there's that. And I gave it 4 stars. I think I just needed a little bit more romance to make it a 5 for me, but that's my personal preference. And then lastly, the last 2 books I picked up, I actually listened to via audiobook. So the first one was Animal Farm by George Orwell. And the reason I picked that one up is because Nikki was reading it as part of her TBR, and I'd never read it. So I thought, oh, okay, well, I'll listen to the audiobook, give it a go. I only gave it 2 stars. It really wasn't for me. I actually felt really sorry for a lot of the animals in it, and I get the reasoning behind it. It just felt really sad, and I felt like I didn't really want a sad book. I wanted something happy, and it wasn't particularly happy. So yeah, I gave it 2 stars. Again, other people might really enjoy it. I believe Nikki really likes it. She has a bit of a soft spot for it, but just wasn't for me. So there's that. And then I read J.B. Priestley's An Inspector Calls. Now, I haven't read that book since I was at school, but it was a really nice kind of throwback. I really enjoyed kind of listening to the way some of the characters came across. and their thoughts and everything that happens. If you haven't read it, I really recommend it. It's literally like an hour and a bit audio book. I found mine on Libby. Yeah, just pick it up. I think it's really, really interesting, really spooky, if that's the right word. But I gave it 3 stars. I really, really enjoyed it. And yeah, I would definitely read it again. I'm sure there's like a TV adaptation somewhere. I'll have to see if I can find it and watch it. Yeah, I had a pretty decent reading month. So I read 7 books, which I'm pretty impressed with. I know Animal Farm and Spectacles are relatively short, so I did cram those in last minute. But they were ones that I was kind of interested in reading, and then thought, well, actually, they're not very long, so I will pop them in there. But yeah, I think I had a pretty decent reading month. So I am just going to talk to you quickly about the point system. So if you've been with me a little while, then you'll know that I use a point system to be able to purchase books. And the last month or so, with my birthday being in March, and then just April being a bit of a flop month for me, I did purchase quite a lot of books. So well, did I purchase quite a lot? Yeah, I did. I did purchase quite a few, and I did a book haul. That might have gone up. Well, no, it has gone up. So you guys will have seen that, or may not have seen it. If you haven't, then you should definitely check it out. There is a lot of books in there. I also picked up a couple more at charity shops and things like that. So all the points that I'd gained so far from like kind of because I wiped all my points in February because I bought a lot of books, and then obviously I accrued points in March and April, and then obviously I bought a lot more books. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wipe my points again up until the last book I bought. So I believe Bitter Blue and Anne Frank and In Spectacles and Animal Farm, I am still going to total up the points for those because I read them after the last book I purchased. I hope that makes sense. So yeah, all points for March and halfway through April have been completely wiped. The last 4 books I read towards the end of April, I am going to collect the points for those, but I don't think there'll be enough to purchase any books anytime soon. So yes, I hope that makes sense. If you need me to explain it a bit more, I will try, but yeah, I hope it makes sense. But yeah, that's everything for me. I really hope you guys enjoyed this wrap up. Take care, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.